Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today is Friday, February 9th, 2024. Almost 4 straight years of Torah every single day. That is 989 broadcasts since we began this community in a moment of need. 989 times we found each other. We found each other from all over the world to give strength, to give comfort, to send healing, to learn Torah, to grow, and to face the world as it is with strength, conviction, availability, and community. Those are all incredibly important commitments that we make on behalf of our community to the world and within our community, one to the other. It's going to be Shabbos pretty soon, and we're beginning a new Hebrew month, the month of Adar. So we say Chodesh Tov. It should be a good month. Please God. Let's talk about all of this in a moment after we say good morning to each other, as I see everyone is already. Penny and Adele, good morning. Hi, Benny. Deborah, sending love to you. Linda and Barry, Valerie, Hineni. Dale and Anya, Chana and Arlene, Deborah, Judy, Julie Ann, Marilyn and Keith, good morning. Penny, thank you for keeping us on track. Broadcast 989. Jacqueline and Minna, Sunday and Stacy, Shari and Keith, good morning. Blanca and Debbie, Blair, good to see you. Let's see who else is here. Rosa and Cecile, Lydia and Lisa, good morning. Hi, Eileen. Hi, Joanne. All right, let's take a breath, everyone. We're going to learn some Torah. Ministerio BTY, welcome from Brazil. I think it's our first time seeing each other. Good to have you in this community. Let's take a breath. Let's learn a little Torah. Here we go. All right, friends, good morning. Praying that you and yours are safe and well, holding all of our family in our hands, near our hearts. I hope that you're getting ready for a Shabbat that will give you a chance to rest. There is a lot to say. First of all, it's Rosh Chodesh. It's the beginning of the Hebrew month of Adar. This year, because it's a leap year, there are two Adars. So this is Rosh Chodesh Adar Aleph, the first day of the first Adar. And we are taught by tradition something that I pray is true. It's not a description, it's a prescription. It's a prayer that Misha Nichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha. When Adar comes in, there is an increase in joy. May that be so for our family all over the world, for people all over the world. It's also broadcast 989, and I am just overwhelmed at that reality that we get to share as a community. And we are going to be marking 1,000 broadcasts of our community on February 26th. I hope you'll make every effort to be present, friends. Marcia, you and your husband are leaving for Israel on Sunday. Bless you. Carry us with you. So moved. So moved that we get to be together for that. Um, all right, where do we begin learning for this Parsha? Well, we begin by marking again how a Parsha written thousands and thousands of years ago feels frighteningly relevant. It's something that really should strike us on this 126th day since October 7th. In Parshat Mishpatim, what we've been talking about and learning about all week, what we'll read in Shul this Shabbat, is a system of law that is designed to create justice in society. It's so important, it's so intense to be taught in advance what to do when we will have self-determination as a reality. The State of Israel represents the first chance in 2,000 years, starting in 1948, to build a society that is truly just, that has equity at its core. And you and I know that any country, even our own home, has far, far to go before it can claim that it truly conducts itself according to the rules of justice. And without getting into the politics, it's clear that even during wartime in Israel, there is a tremendous amount of conversation happening about how to conduct government fairly and appropriately. Israel has a lot of internal healing to do, as do we as a people, not only because of external threats, but also because of what we have been willing to do to each other and the ways in which we have forgotten our most internal vulnerable members of our family and citizens. So what I want to do is read just a little bit from this week's Parsha, because it actually points the way both internally and outward facing. So if you'd like to look this up afterwards, it's Exodus chapter 23, Shmot Perek Kaf Gimel, and it begins with Lo tisa shem shav, don't carry false rumors. Don't carry false rumors. Don't join hands with the guilty to act as a malicious witness. And there's an irony here in terms of language. The phrase for a malicious witness is called an Eid Hamas. The word in Hebrew, Hamas, is different than the acronym for the terrorist group. But it is striking a few times so far in this cycle of the Torah reading that we have the word Hamas appear as something that is dreadfully wrong in the world. So may we understand that we aren't talking about human beings when we talk about Hamas. Eid Hamas in the Torah is talking about something wrong that a person can do. When you internalize that wrongness, when you subvert the image of God that every human being is created in, you fall into this terrible, terrible trap that the Torah predicts could happen to a human being, that we cease acting in a human way. And the rabbis say thousands of years later, and for us thousands of years ago, B'makom she'ein anashim hishtadel liot ish, a place where there is no humanity. You have to work hard, be human. That's what we're trying in the midst of this war. Trying, doing our best in the midst of it all. But look how the verses continue. That was verse 1 in chapter 23. Here's verse 2. Lo tiyeh acharei rabim leraot. Don't follow the majority when they are doing bad things. V'lo ta'aneh al riv lintot acharei rabim lehatot. Don't lie in testimony. Don't give perverse testimony in a dispute to favor it for the mighty. Right? If the world seems to be tipping in a collective way towards bad, don't join that. Bear testimony against. Don't fall into the peer pressure of it. And then 4 words make up verse 3. And I want to spend just a moment on them. Vidal lo tehdar berivo. Nor shall you show deference to a poor person in a dispute. Why does the Torah need to say that? I want to focus on this. Don't show deference to a poor person in a dispute. Why does anyone need to be told that? So I want to suggest, as do some commentators, including Rashi and Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz, that we need to be told not to show favoritism to the poor because our hearts are merciful. We are called as a people to remember our story of having been vulnerable. Helpless is a terrible word to use, but we were enslaved for hundreds of years in Egypt, and every one of our rituals, almost every one, points back to the sensitivity that needs to be internalized for us because we know what it is to be oppressed. We may never oppress. And so the cultivation of mercy is a central tenet of Jewish identity. These rules are being spoken to judges when we will have some measure of autonomy, either in the desert or in the Promised Land, or thousands of years later in the Third Jewish Commonwealth. How powerful it is, then, to hear these words and to remember that the cultivation of mercy needs to be held side by side with a commitment to justice. So the Hebrew again for chapter 23, verse 3 is Vidal lo tehadar berivo. Don't show deference to a poor person in a dispute. Meaning, in order to show dignity, human dignity, to someone who is poor, someone who is in a personally vulnerable position, dignity is also conferred by holding them to the standards of justice. Let me say it a little bit more applicable to today's situation and why, for me, this was the verse I wanted to focus on. Because there's no question that vulnerability is a reality in our world, and there's no question, because we are human beings who are taught by our tradition to feel mercy and compassion. There's no question that the devastation in Gaza is absolutely worthy of note and should influence the way that we conduct this war. So too, friends, so too should the vulnerability that we are witness to in the Jewish community, be it in Israel. My daughter just recently was in the south, specifically paying a visit and bearing testimony to the site of the Nova Festival, the massacre and stealing of hundreds of young Israelis. That vulnerability cannot be ignored. But it is also important to show the dignity that justice entails. What is it to look at a vulnerable part of the world and hold it to a standard of justice? Why is this war a just one? We must recognize that this is not a revenge pursuit. This is the pursuit of justice. The war is being conducted for two reasons. One is so that Hamas can never do this again, and two is to bring home our family members. There are still over 100 of them who are alive, we hope. And we are fighting to bring them home, and we are fighting for justice. This parsha reminds us of the guardrails of human conduct, when we will have the power to build a society that is worthy of our children and our children's children, worthy of the sacrifice of our ancestors, better than the way we've been treated. In order to build that society, we must be alive to do so. And in order to build a society that is worthy, we must keep our consciousness alive, our history alive, our recognition that in this Torah, this sacred heart of our tradition, that we have to hold every human being, vulnerable and wealthy, mighty and vulnerable, poor, to the same standards of justice. The Torah warns us that the compassion and mercy that can overwhelm, and they're beautiful things, can also blind us to the demands of justice. Everyone has to be held to account. Every one of us is created in the image of God, and the image of God does not entitle anyone to be immune to the demands of justice. I know this isn't the most soft or inspirational thing with which to go into Shabbat or to begin the month of Adar. But if you look at the story of Purim, which we will mark in the second month of Adar this year, and you look at the stories in the Torah, our stories, our sacred diary, it's really important to see that there have been harsh lessons about the intensity of vulnerability. But if we don't understand that there are limits to that beautiful emotional way of being, if we don't take seriously the demands of this moment, we are in trouble, and our children's children will be in trouble down the line. There is an intensity to this vulnerability, and the visuals of Gaza and of the devastation of our young people and our communities in the South. And I've shared in this community, in this broadcast, that I was present with elected officials and interfaith clergy here in New York to witness and screen footage from October 7th. That vulnerability will never escape my eyes. I can't become blinded by it, and I cannot become blind to it. The demands of justice are significant. And we are here, friends, as a global Jewish family who love our people and who love mercy and who love justice. We are told in this parsha to hold it all in balance as we pursue a just society, mighty and vulnerable. May we be blessed to be strong. May we be blessed to heal. And may we remember that vulnerability is not permission to continue with impunity attacking others. That is a truth that I pray for civilians in Gaza they internalize. That is a truth that I know pervades our consciousness as a Jewish people and animates the best of us as we fight in Gaza for the rest of us. It demands that we pursue justice. That's not an easy thing to pursue. Justice looks like this too. So, friends, I bless us as the month of Adar begins to cultivate pockets of joy, to find some song, to find some heart, to find some healing, and to believe that justice is possible, that we can have our family back, that we can fight and fight well and fight fiercely, but not fight with vengeance, fight for justice. May we, friends, be present. May we be whole. May we feel love, maybe even a little bit of joy. It's Adar. Let some joy in. Please, God, you should have a good Shabbos dinner tonight. Have a good, restful Shabbat. And we'll come back again to learn on Monday. Let's sing away into Shabbos, and then we'll sing Hatikva. Here we go. Bless you, friends. Here we go. Let's offer this prayer, fueled by our commitment to justice, our commitment to joy, our commitment to each other. Blessings, friends. Blessings. Bring them home now. I'm praying before Hatikva. I'm praying with Hatikva. Pray with me, friends. Bring them home now. Bring them home now. Bring them home now. Kol don balevav Pnima Nefesh Yehudi Homia Ulefatei Mizrach Kadima Ain Letzion Sophia Od lo avda tikvateinu Hatikva bat shnot alpayim Liot am chovshi be'artzeinu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim Liot am chofshi be'artzeinu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. Shabbat Shalom, friends. Chodesh Tov. A good month to you. See you on Monday.